Hello everybody, welcome back to a new episode of Railway Empire 2. I've played a lot in the past couple of days since I did my last recording, and that means we have a lot of research open. I want to start with that one because it's almost 700 points. Now, first thing is that passengers of luxury trains may also switch trains at land stations with inns. I still think the bloody things are called hotels, but never mind. But that's going to be number one. And number two is the increase of ticket prices for passengers by an additional 5%. With that, I'm getting a little bit closer to what I want. Now I can pick advertisements. It's not really useful, but I can still pick it. Or residue value. And I think seeing how much we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10, 11, 13, 6, 20, 2400. We have 4 months left. And somehow have the feeling that I'm really going to rely 6.6 years. I'm really going to rely on auctions at the moment. Get everything unlocked, which means I might as well do this and hope for one of the other tags first. As soon as we've got another 100 points, I'm going to take export. That's going to be at the end of March, actually. And we'll see how far we get. So, more money from passenger tickets and luxury train line passengers may also transfer on inns. And like I said, I think that's actually hotel. Uh, Disadvantage of being a moderator. Anyway, we'll see how far we get, but I have to rely on auction. And I really hope it's going to be useful. Restaurant bonus is actually a better choice, but that's 200 points. And market hall. I do have some market halls right now. I actually adjusted. Oh, wait. I know what happened. I actually adjusted Berlin. We have. Let's start running this one. We have um, third station in Berlin, which is actually set for mail trains only. That way I got the full 8 tracks at my Berlin Hauptbahnhof or Central Station for passenger trains, given I have multiple 2, 4, 6, 7 different railway railway lines here that's actually going to need round the clock. North, luxury, luxury. I'm actually missing one here. That's funny. Well, never mind. So Berlin is currently the second station with second city with 3 stations after Amsterdam, and I am considering to do a similar thing in Paris and even in Vienna. Where is Vienna? There's Vienna. Although Vienna isn't that bad yet. The reason is pretty simple actually. I also need to check something here. Aha. No, never mind. The reason is very simple. The moment I'm able to move my mail trains, it's usually to quite often more trains from one station to another one. I will free up 2 or more tracks, which I can then use for my luxury trains, making all that a lot easier. Because I notice my network is getting a little bit congested, and because of that I actually had cut on some of my trains, looking at the utility to make sure that I'm running enough trains and not too many trains, because that's what actually was happening at some point. Kind of makes sense up to the point where I had the luxury passengers unlocked. All passengers went with one train. Now I've got luxury passengers, meaning they won't take the normal train, they will take the luxury train. After all, if you're rich and famous, or rich and not famous, or famous and not rich even, well, maybe not, but anyway, if you have the money for it, you rather travel in style, meaning you pay a little bit extra, but you got the more room, the different people to handle your cargo, your luggage and all that. So using a luxury carriage will be a lot better for the rich people, instead of sitting with the quotes common plebs. That also means that all luxury passengers will move from one train to another, meaning the normal trains will actually get a little bit less passengers, as there's that movement from the luxury ones, and that means that I may actually be able to run one train less to still have a very efficient operation, but cost-wise efficient operation by simply removing a single train and that keep everything full. That's the whole idea. So that's why I have been removing some trains, some locomotives, but basically some trains from some routes to make sure everything keeps working the way it should. And seeing how my money is moving, the numbers, it still works. Although there is of course the question what will happen with my daily cost. Currently my luxury passengers are already making 2 million. So I guess that's good, considering they're paying 50% extra. It isn't everywhere, by the way. There are some tracks where some routes where I actually can let less train with luxury passengers run because the utility was very low. And that's one of the things I actually started to look at, setting up a train and start slowly adding or removing a locomotive, and the moment it dropped from 100% stop. So not being like, okay, I got 6 stations, my train is visiting all 6 stations twice, or actually the first and the last one, number 1 and number 6 single, but 2, 3, 4 and 5 twice. So 10 stops in total. Let's just add 10 trains to the list or 9 trains to the list and make sure everything works. Doesn't work like that. So it's utility now. Oh, well, there is an improvement, like I said. So freight dropped a bit, passengers dropped a bit, but luxury passengers, look at that. 20 million. I make 20 million on luxury passengers. That's an awful lot of money. Mail is dropping a bit. Production is still on and off. But I went up to 93. And I think previous episode, well, okay, I moved on several years now. Previous episode I did something about 73. So that's ticking. Staff cost, maintenance, everything is the same. This is still a big problem, the delays and the breakdowns. I know why. It's also one of the reasons why I have been removing trains. Because at some point I noticed that my locomotives were actually waiting on one another because they were all trying to move on the same tracks, and the reason for that is the shortest route setting this game has, which means trains will always take the inner turn, even if that inner turn is obstructed by another train doing maintenance, or maybe made a breakdown, it will still try to take the inner turn. So I had to adjust some routes by adding waypoints to force trains to take not, for instance, track 1 and 2, but instead track 3 or 4. 3 for one direction, 4 for the other direction. seeing how many or how few trains currently are waiting, especially the passenger trains. It's supply that's usually blocked up, although breakdown, I don't know. Because several of my trains actually are going all over the map right now because of the adjustments. But seeing how few trains are actually waiting for another one, I think things went by. And look at that, 31,000 on this train. So that works. We also have 100 research points. Don't need saboteurs, immigration offers. Nah, not yet. No, because I want to go to Haute Cuisine first, so I need 200 points. So let's zoom in. I can't, well, I can, but I won't go to the ride along view this time, because I don't want to miss out on any auction. Like I said, those are going to be very important at the moment. So we're going to ride along this way. You can actually retract that every once in a while. I may zoom out a little bit. But the view is great, that's for sure. So what will I do after this? Well, I don't know yet. I mean, there's still a long way to go, but my next episode, no yet. I can play along up to 1890 if I want to, and then do what I've done before, unlock things from the new era. There's the other passenger train coming in, and now I am going to ride along, so we can have a minor view. So I am, like I said, I may actually have a look in 1890s. New things will be unlocked at that point. So that's something to look at. Hang on. Do I get the? This is Chemin de Fer Suisse. Ah no, this is TGV. TGV d'Est Luxe. That one is actually traveling from Paris. Oh wait. Clockwise route. Entering Dijon. Not going to Genève, I think. Probably Auxerre. From Auxerre to Paris. Simon. Simon is here. Yeah. Well, I can go to the 1890s and unlock stuff at that point. It depends all on what I am able to get in the next 3 years, 3/4 of a year until we actually hit 1890 era. I have to make choices now. Choices about which train to unlock. Choices why Trans-Siberian Rail. I have to check that, I'm afraid, at some point. But choices that need to be made about what I want to unlock, what at least what I consider important to unlock and all that. So I think we get new industries available in 1890, so I have to find a way for that. I have to set up the route, get one new locomotive which could replace the TAF. See that. So there are some choices that need to be made. Probably will do that while I'm alone. We'll see about that. How and the what. At least not alone, but when I'm not recording, let's put it like that. So with that in mind, there's still enough to do. And of course, I was afraid this would happen. So I let the game run on, but I have to leave for a brief moment. So anyway, now I'm back. There's things to discover, lots to be needed to be done. And still new routes needed to be added, and I certainly have to clean up the mess in Paris at some point. Although at the other hand, it's still running quite well. But the whole problem is should add, you know what, instead of complaining and telling I should do, maybe I just do. Going to be tricky though. My mail tray needs to split off somewhere. And the only possible point is here. That means split off, avoid a building and go there. Go up 8%. That's one. So my Tully's mail can be diverted to this station. However, I also got another station up here. Wait, I said click. Ooh, that's going to be possible. Okay, that's number 2. So I can have the Tully's mail to Paris. I wonder what name it should give it. Okay, I know the name. No. The body. Maintenance depot. Post office. Garden North. Post office demolished. Market hall added. Then face using this. VGV. Yes. Oh no, don't do that. Alice mail. Started party instead of dag north. Leave. The nice part is I can actually remove Brodeur because I'm going to do my maintenance up there. So that's one stop less. Utilization 40%. If I remove one train, 17%. So let's do that. TGV the West. Carte postale, that means no, first of all, let's do that. That way, all 8 platforms available. Now I'm going to have a somewhat different task. Grid Island done. Okay, this one starts, if I'm not mistaken, at Guiding North. Seven. No, it doesn't matter where it starts. This is the counterclockwise. And that's the clockwise. Ja, maintenance. Should do maintenance here, but tour. But yeah, that means I have to redo a lot. Orléans. Tour. Baguette. Nantes. Rennes. Limoux. Rennes. No, it's not that much. Okay, it's only one stop. Station 2. This one is going to be more tricky. Because it's coming in. From here. So I need to split it off, move over these tracks, over those tracks. Let's see. Well, I still have room left, so. Ah, you got that again. That's one thing. And the gridiron. Okay, so it should be able to move to this station, but it also needs to move to the other station, so I made a mistake. Shoot. I should have started with the other tracks connecting to him. Yep, those are the express tracks. Except, if I keep making mistakes, we won't get anywhere. Oh, that's somewhere. No. Now I need to do the other one. I hope. That I'm able to make that connection. I'm able to go under. No. Got you. Now hope. Let's hope that what I was planning to do is possible. Maybe if I demolish that, yes. Okay, now edit. Not that one. That works. Perfect. Which means this is going to work too. There it is. Body maintenance auxerre. No maintenance needed at Simon. Dijon, Nancy. Maintenance needed at Jean. There. This one at the outer tracks, okay? Let's see, Strasbourg, Drenkner. All tracks are actually full. Luxembourg, no maintenance needed. Reims, confirm. Okay. I'm going to do this for precautions. Because as we have found out in the past, quite often a game hangs or even crashes after this, so we have to watch the movement of the train and the movement of the funds. That's it. And that may take a while. Let's just hope not too long. Nope. There we go. So this one is a passenger train. What I can do now is check where I can actually drop my trains, which platforms. We're coming in. At EF4 and need to go to 5 or 6. So that can stay at 3. This one is at 4 if I'm not mistaken. No, it isn't. 5. And at 6. Then the luxury trains coming in. From the south, so I can actually drop those two at 7. Now the clock and clockwise at 8. Still have more trains as I have platforms. Let's do the same thing, 7 and 8. I mean, when I travel by train and visit Amsterdam, I also notice that the Thalys passengers or the intercity direct passengers are still using same platforms as the common passengers. So, platform 2? Yeah. And the luxury platform 1. South, going up, up, going down. %, so I'm not going to add another train to this one. That's also one of the things that surprised me a little bit, that the overhead lines, okay, the mast, this construction, new construction is normal, but having the ropes on the side is giving me some weird impression, because personally I would put them parallel to the tracks and not to the side of the tracks. I don't know, of course, how things are in Germany. Possible that in Germany it actually works like this, but for this game it's a little bit weird, because if you put mod as the tracks next to it, which aren't using overhead lines, you basically got everything over the tracks, and that gives the impression the train is actually running through these bars. I don't think that's intended. So supporting parallel to the tracks would be a better choice in my opinion. Quite some surfacing going on here. I think this is most likely the most followed piece of track I have done in the entire video series. No, it's not looking beautiful. Single holes that we occasionally see are actually looking better as those U-shaped supports. Let's say the gallop pole idea, although I think gallows are also built like that, so that idea is not going way sure. There's also another thing I need to look at, and that's the fact that I lost a lot of express trains the moment I switched to the Coupe van. That's probably because the average speed is adjusted, went up, and my trains aren't making it for whatever reason. The 77 required, currently 69. So it's possible that's going to be a problem. Of course, I had an income drop, and this kind of explains it. Of course, by removing some of the trains to get a high utility, I actually may improve it now and still get some express status back. I'm not sure. General Europe is a little bit more crowded as the USA. More cities, etc. So it's likely that at some points you play at the USA map and still are able to get express status on Kufa or anything from the same era, while at the European game you can't. I'm still considering to move to England. That means I need to redo parts of the track near Lille. As in moving my main tracks to here and split these two off, or even add 8 tracks and split 2 off to London. I can move on to Clermont Station, although even that part needs to be redone. Cross over to Dover and then Manning, London, and move out that way. Here we go, first car. Yeah, well, it's 1886. Let me tell you, 100 years later, everybody did. Everybody's using it. So Paris, Amsterdam, Berlin are the cities where I'm making the most profit on passenger traffic right now, because I got the market hall and the restaurant on the same station. Another thing that may help with the average speed now is moving my mail trains to another station, because near Amsterdam and near Paris they are splitting off, leaving more room for my passenger trains and the luxury passenger trains to keep moving. So I hope it helps. On the other hand, looking at things, it won't actually be able to make full speed, because we're heading into another city already. So even before it's at top speed, it's already done. I don't think that actually works. So that's the restaurant. $33K. And this is the market hall. Oh, that's looking quite nice actually. Look at this. They've got veggies. I think potatoes, carrots, cucumber. Not sure what these things are. Beetroot? Yeah, maybe. Peas, beans, lentils maybe. So it's food market, but yeah, it's looking quite nice. I need to find a mail train. particular one. That one is moving. So we have to follow this one for a bit. Like I said, it's the most followed route. And we're going to resupply, but here is exactly what I meant about those ports. We're cutting straight through pass, so not beautiful in my opinion. Yeah, what to say? Not much actually. check for maintenance, move on, take a right turn, go up to the postal station. That's what should happen. Move on. Oh, wait. This is actually going faster. There we go. Ooh, that didn't look the way it should. So, leaving this track and almost immediately split off. Go the top here. That's what it should do. Well, it does. It's able to gain some speed. 62 going up. Okay, that's nice. Now it's flat and going down. So this part is indeed speeding up. There's another mail train. Well, this actually works nicely. What I should do, edit, I can remove that one. Because this is going to be a maintenance station anyway. So this works. Whoa, 5 million? We're going to break the 100 million soon. And look at my luxury passengers. They're bringing in almost as much as my regular ones. Mail is actually improving too. So I guess setting up that new station did work out. Total expenses were almost the same. Yeah, but this is going to be a problem. Production. And this is also a problem. Although delays are dropping, and I think that's also because of the trains I am removing. Restaurant works at 50% revenue increase for passengers who start or transfer at the station. So from now on, all luxury passengers bring in 50% extra. think it was 31k. Let's see what's doing now. 40. Okay. So 40% on the passenger plus 50%. That's really, really, really helping. Yeah, this is quite a nice view. Going over tracks, going over other tracks. The shed. Ah, no, it's fine. This is the other one. Oh, what do you mean, diving deep? Okay, when does signal being released, or do we have another train moving in? No, we don't. Well, this works. And actually works perfectly. I'm very pleased with this. So pleased with the waiting. So RAM. Back 4 next time. And track 3. That way. Oh, we can put passenger trains on 1E3. And if I actually confirm, it will be better. Now let's do the same trip in the other direction. See how that goes. How that looks. Not that complicated. Now, of course, I need to take a left turn not long after the supply station. And this depth is actually done by the game, not by me. But you still see sharp bump. Well, it's able to maintain its speed pretty well, actually. So, this works. Let me see how to solve English, I think. No. We get newspapers in 1819. On next, 89, 107. So in general, the T16 is already pretty useless now. 103. I got a 114. 95 on the mountain. That's it. So yeah, I'm going for the market first, because that's another price increase, and after that we'll see. There's no need to unlock this locomotive, because I can get everything but the locomotive with bypass. Electric machines is actually a key point, but I can ignore him for a while. So this can be done all without 300 points in him and eventually that. But the electric motor, yeah, that's useful. So boutiques, 200 points, 7 months. Meanwhile, I'm going to have a look what I'm going to do. Am I going to London, England? Because if you look at this, you place a station here, you can pick up coal and stone at the same spot and drive it off to, well, Swansea, Birmingham, Liverpool, Manchester. Either produce steel. This is one of the very nice things. Glasgow can, for instance, work with, what's his name? Steel and pottery. Two goods for Turso. This is going to be a little bit complicated. Used to do the routes, I think Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Turso, then not sure if I went this way or that way. Fort William, Glasgow, going down, Belfast, going all the way around, trying to pick everything possible. Waterford, Dublin, crossing to Holyhead, and Swansea, Liverpool, Plymouth, eventually back to London. That's one way I can go. The other one is that I'm still able to go to Kolding, Aalborg, Scandinavia. But height line wise, it may actually be easier. We'll need more bridges though. Plus, where do you cross? Are you going to Kolding, Breeding, Nesvet, Copenhagen, Halmstad, Karlskrona, or am I going to Aalborg, then Gothenburg, Jönköping, Hallstatt, something like that. I can even do a circle route here, Halmstad as hub, Karlskrona that way. So I have some options, but I am thinking about expanding. I mean, there are British Isle and Scandinavia are the only ones I haven't done yet. Waiting on what? No, it's already moving. So I'll see what I'm going to do. But moving into to Britain, yeah, that would be fun to do. Like I said, I need to redo Lille. I need to cut it off somewhere up here. Turn this into my main tracks. Remove those two. get a 4-track here and use that, split things off, eventually connect. And I also need to make a new connection here. We'll see. For now, thanks for watching everybody, and I do hope people have been enjoying it. I did. It's nice to see how everything starts to work out with the luxury trains and how everything starts to work out with the triple stations. I was planning to do triple stations in multiple cities. Not sure if I'm actually going to do that. But capitals or hubs, yeah, that's quite important. Well, Paris is both actually. So let's say so far so good. Certainly applies to what we have here. I hope everybody's having a good week next week, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.